Sodiq, I know the last one was a little frustrating. Came up short there. I guess kind of what do you make of that performance, and what did you take out of it?
I took a lot out of that performance, man. You know, I think even though I've been doing this for a while, there's still little lessons to be learned. You know, and when I rewatched the fight, I remember in the process, like in that, especially the third round, I was still focused on trying to win the round instead of trying to get a finish, which is the first time I ever found myself in that position in my career, you know. So there was a lot of lessons I learned out of it, you know. To be honest, I felt like my performance was decent. I got caught with 2 bad shots, one in the one round and one in the next round, and that's what lost me both rounds. And I saw the stats and all the fans talking like, man, he was outstriking him, blah, blah. It doesn't really matter, you know. At the end of the day, those 2 mistakes are something that's technical, and I was able to work on them during camp.
Very nice. 11 months. Was that by design?
No, definitely not. You know, before this one too was a long one, and after the fight with Arnold, I got really sick. Like I got COVID really, really bad, and I was out for a long time. I think I was out of the gym for maybe like 2-3 months. So it was really health issues that kept me away. I wanted to be a lot more busy.
I didn't know what that was. So like, when you got back, were there any like long-term complications, or did you just get through that 2-3 months and then you were okay?
Yeah. Well, no, it was. I kept on having the same symptoms I had from my original COVID sickness. It just never went away, and then it got to the point where it was affecting training, and I didn't know what was going on, so I was making it worse without realizing that. I thought whenever I would feel the fatigue or the body aches and stuff like that, I was like, oh man, you're just being soft, so try to push through it. I'll go on like long runs and stuff like that. And then sooner or later, it got to the point where it wasn't just affecting practice anymore. And it's like, I'll just be at home in the kitchen and like my body starts hurting, or I feel like going to sleep, you know. And it was really, really bad. So I just had to take a lot of time off. And when I came back to the gym, it was like, it wasn't something that was just a straight line. It was like, it'll be okay, and then it'll be bad again. It'll be okay, it'll be bad again. So I had to base it. The way I try to look at it was like, if I could make it through a full week of practice, then I'm good. So I just kept on doing it like that. I'll have 2 good days, 1 bad day, 3 good days, 1 bad day, all the way on to the point where, okay, I had a full month of training now. And after that happened, that's when I talked to my coach, and I was like, okay, let's try to get a fight now. And then I've been good for a long time now. So fingers crossed everything's behind me.
That's awesome, man. Glad to hear. All right, match up with Alex Caceres. I mean, a guy that's been doing it for a long time, right? So when this was the name that was given to you, what was your initial thought?
Yeah, man, it's really cool, man. I'm at the point of my career now where like a lot of the guys I'm going to be fighting are people that I was watching back in the day. You know, I like Bruce Leroy. You know, I like the way he fight. Like he's the original OG anime guy. You know, I'm an anime guy too, so it's cool, man. I like the matchup.
That's awesome. What do you think about his evolution, right? Because I mean, he's been doing this for a long time, and it seems like he's better than ever right now. So if you've been watching him all this time growing up, what do you think is, what do you evaluate on right now that's working so well?
Well, I think probably just ring time. You know, at the end of the day, we can't make up for that. Like some people are more talented than others, but that ring time is something that also plays a big part in it. So I think he's also has some pretty good matchups too. You know, so that plays a little bit into it.
Nice. Is there? I don't want to say starstruck, but will it be? Do you think it'll be a little bit weird when you jump in there and you're like, I'm in the octagon with this guy?
Not really, because I was a bigger fan of Andre Philly. And that was a pretty good one too. So it's not no starstruck. I feel like if the starstruck thing would have happened, it would have already happened then. Like most of these guys is like, it's just I was a big UFC fan before I was a fighter. So any of the old school guys, I was watching them already coming up, you know. So I think I might have even asked Alex for a picture back in the days. So it's pretty cool, man. I don't think any starstruck thing is gonna happen though.
That's cool. Is it almost, I guess, like a confirmation in yourself? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Because when I was a kid growing up, I used to have like vivid dreams of me getting like in the UFC, like me going through media day, not even me fighting in the cages, like me going through like the media stuff. You know, like I have dreams about fighting Jeremy Stevens and stuff like that. So it's just like you said, it's a confirmation of where I thought I would be.
That's awesome, man. So in terms of getting in there. Do you feel like there's adjustments that have to be, you mentioned kind of the mindset that you were in that last fight. I mean, do you have to make like wholesale changes to the way you approach things, or is it just minor adjustments?
It's minor stuff, It's just I feel like one of the biggest things I definitely worked on is being able to get back, because sometimes I get into like a fight and I start going off like instincts, So I have to be able to address myself, and that's something that I actually worked on with some of the guys that back home. I had a hypnotherapy sessions. I did a lot of them at Journey Within Wellness in Maryland. So that really helped me out with tapping into being able to be more, not even like being able to take myself into the fight and take myself out of the fight, like thinking while I'm in there, not thinking too much, but at least being able to think. Like my thing is like there's certain fighters that they overthink at all. I mean, they overthink, but with me it's like I don't think at all when I'm in there. It's like an outer body experience. So I definitely want to work on being able to, hey Sodiq, it's time for us to switch it around. You don't have to win the round, man. You have to try to get a finish.
Nice. And I guess maybe that kind of plays into it, because I was wondering, like, is it just a matter of just, hey, let's just go get our hand raised, or do you feel like you want to do something kind of spectacular? Because, yeah, there was so much hype around you, right? Like, this is the next guy right here. Then, you know how it is, one loss and everything's off the tracks or whatever. So
that it's fickle fans, One loss and the fans forget all about you. But with me, I've never really been the guy that goes in there like I gotta do something spectacular. It's just natural. It's the way I fight, So I've always been a prioritize winning over anything. But the way that I fight is the path to get that win is always going to be exciting.
Very nice. I guess last thing for me, what kind of fight do you think we see? I mean, is this one where you're going to get pushed and tested, by this veteran, or is this one where you can go in there and you can show that you're the next generation? What kind of fight do we see?
To be honest, I don't know. My goal is to go in there. Trust me. When these fighters tell you they're trying to go get a 3-round war, they're all lying. If I could walk in there and touch them once and walk out, that would be the perfect day.
Hey, Sodiq. How frustrating has it been only fighting once a year for the past 2 years?
Very, very. It's super depressing. It's like, especially the year before this one was like frustrating. But last year is not frustrating because now I'm dealing with my health. There's a difference between being frustrated about fighting and not thinking you're gonna be jacked up for the rest of your life. I was really, really scared. I actually called my coach. I was telling him about like, man, I think I might be done with fighting. It took a long time for me to find. I didn't know anything about long haul COVID symptoms because I didn't. A lot of this stuff people was figuring out on the go. So I didn't know that, your body's still acting like you're sick, So it was very, very depressing. But, hey, we're on the other side now.
Yes. When you were thinking about, with your sickness and those thoughts were coming in, like, maybe I won't be fighting anymore, like, what were your thoughts going on?
To be honest, man, the biggest thing was me trying to how am I going to tell like my family that I'm sick? Because a lot of people didn't even know I was really sick like that outside of my coaches, I'm sure a lot of you guys know I lost 2 brothers already, so I didn't want to put that thought out there and have my mom panicking, so it was one of those things I kind of kept to myself for a long time, and by the time I figured out what was going on, I was able to present it in a much better way.
And then on a more positive note, how has it been watching your fellow Nigerian fighters just dominating right now?
It's very, very inspirational. It's really, really cool because when I was coming up, you just try to hold on to anything that you can, So when you see like Rampage Jackson fighting out there, I was like, oh man, okay, that's another black guy. That dude looks cool, blah, blah, blah. And then when I finally saw Usman on The Ultimate Fighter, I was like, oh, crap, is a Nigerian nightmare. It's like, it meant the world to me, man. And now these guys are out there catching belts, like pound for pound #1. It's very, very inspirational, man. And I hope one day kids could look at me like that too.
And finally, how important is it to be fighting on the same card as your teammate Tafon?
It's really cool, man, because, man, we're from PG County, man. PG County, Maryland. It's like, look at there's two guys in PG County, Maryland out there on the UFC. We're out here representing. Where we're from is like MMA, wrestling is a lot more popular now. But when I was a kid in high school and I was telling people I'm gonna be in the UFC when I'm older, blah blah, it's like some didn't even know what that was, and the ones that did know what it was, like, man, yeah, well, You ain't doing that, man. But look at us out here, man. We representing the DMV. Both of us are fighting on the same card. It's super cool.
Awesome. Thank you.